Hannibal. This is episode 3 of season 3 of Hannibal, and it's titled Secondo, I don't know. I speak English, I don't understand it. Let's do it. Bedelia's still alive, that's good.
This scene is something akin to falling in love.
She called you out. Hannibal's crying. Why is Will walking backwards? It's like that movie, The Happening. I mean, I know 8 months have passed, but he was like gutted, and he could just climb fences. That's impressive. He's walking through this graveyard, and all I can think of is like Muppet Christmas Carol, and he's gonna find a headstone that says Ebenezer or Scrooge. I think therapy would go a lot better if you just put chairs out in fields like that. Yeah, hear gunshots and run towards it. Oh. That was cool. Cutting a bird's feet and it goes to hands. Nah, that's gross. Why does human flesh look so appetizing? Dude, Gillian Anderson's got some arms on her. Hannibal's suit reminds me of Jack Skellington.
Why did I think extremely?
He kills people so seamlessly. Like, it's just normal dinner conversation.
That may have been impulsive.
Of course it was a little impulsive. That is just upsetting. Please finish that guy off. He's getting your plates bloody.
You killed him.
Yeah, you killed him, Bedelia. It was all you. It's like the sweetest Valentine of dead men's bodies. Jack Crawford! Morpheus! These birds are so freaking loud. That's what I get for filming in the daytime. Swiggity swag! Fireflies! Back to the Snells again. Dude, Snells look so cool. This episode is so dark. Like, fireflies and darkness. They light this entire show by candlelight. So Hannibal grew up in Frankenstein's mansion. What the heck? You're in an actual dungeon with people.
You're upsetting him.
What?
How do you know Hannibal?
One could argue intimately.
Heyo.
Left me with a smile.
Ooh, I like his tummy. Don't show close-ups of people eating, it's disgusting.
The organs cooked the same day. I always see this process personally.
He just like broke the fourth wall and looked into the camera. I love it.
I've never known myself as well as I know myself when I'm with him.
That is romantic. And kind of just horrifying. You getting your hair did by Hannibal? That's like slumber party status.
How did your sister taste?
Don't ask someone that! How'd your sister taste? You're horrible. Whenever it shows someone go under the water, I can't breathe. I can't go underwater without plugging my nose, and I'm like, they must be drowning. Will, what are you doing? That's his home. He lives in a cell. Don't just let him out in public.
Go!
Go! I don't want you anymore! How is that helping the guy? You let him go in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night.
He was dead. I was dead. We didn't imagine
What? What the heck? What the heck? He choking you. Did he kill her? Oh. She poked him in the neck with a pokey stick. That is a skinny dude. Well, turns out you can kill people.
You are doing what he does. He'd be proud of you.
Will, you are a baby Hannibal.
I'll help you find him.
Why would you help me?
I've no reason to stay here.
They're gonna be two buddies off on a whirlwind adventure to find a cannibal. Holy crap, Will, you're getting dark. What the crap? Will, please tell me you're just doing this in your mind and you didn't actually string that guy up.
I have to eat him.
Oh, yes. Dude. So I'm in my old room to recap because my mom's going to be home soon and she's going to want the living room. It opens with Bedelia and Hannibal has just seen Will in the catacombs. And she's like, was it nice to see him? And he's like, yeah, it was nice. He's like, Will knew where to look for me. And she's like, you knew where he would look. You guys are flirting. He's like, Will said he forgave me. And she's like, forgiveness takes two. It's kind of like falling in love. He's like, you can't control who you fall in love with. Then she's like, you know you're going to get caught, right? Like, you're going to get caught. He's like, well, are you concerned about yourself? And she's like, no, I can navigate this situation pretty good. She's kind of like, where's Will going to go now? And he's like, someplace I can't go, which is home. It cuts to Will. He's at this big, giant palace castle type place where Hannibal used to live. Jumping over fences, walking through graveyards, trying to get in. As he's walking through the graveyard, he sees the headstone for Misha, Hannibal's sister. Then there's like Hannibal and Will, and they're sitting in their psychiatrist therapy chairs, but out in the field by Hannibal's house. They're talking about childhood and like what Hannibal's rooms in his brain palace would be like compared to childhood and now and whatever. Then it's Will standing alone in the field and he hears two gunshots and like an idiot he runs towards them. It's this Asian chick and she's shooting at birds and I think she sees Will. She has a gun at him but then she just turns and walks away. Then it cuts to her like plucking feathers out of the bird and she goes to chop the feet off and it just jump cuts to Hannibal chopping a hand off and preparing an arm, you know, for dinner. So they bring the food to the table and they're sitting down for dinner with that one professor dude that tried to discredit Hannibal in the beginning. The guy's like, yeah, you sang for your supper, you did a good job, and you have the job, so what are you gonna do? Hannibal's making a drink for them, and he's like, here, it's this cocktail they served to the guests on the Titanic. And at that point, you're like, that guy's gonna die. The guy, like, does a toast for Hannibal, and Hannibal's like, I don't even know if you really like me. And the guy's like, well, then you're not paying attention. Which is like, don't backsass Hannibal, because the next thing he's gonna do is stick something in your temple, which is exactly what he did. The guy just sits there dumbfounded with this thing sticking in his brain, and he starts, like, babbling and laughing, and it was really upsetting. Then Bedelia just gets up and pulls the thing out of his temple, and he starts bleeding and falls face down, and Hannibal's like, oh, you just killed him. She's like, are you trying to leave a trail of bodies so Will will find you? And he's like, I admit that was impulsive, but to be fair, I only killed one of those people. You're the one that got all grab happy and pulled it out of his temple. That one's on you. Then it cuts to the chapel, and in walks Jack Crawford. So Jack's sitting in the chapel and he has some of the, like, crime scene photos. And then in walks that inspector dude. And he's like, hey, we should team up and be a buddy cop movie and get Hannibal. Jack's like, I'm not even here for Hannibal. I'm here for Will. Calm down. Will's out in the forest at night with this little teeny fire. And he starts, like, thinking, is Swiggity Swag the nightmare stag near me? So he starts wandering around and there's fireflies and stuff. And then he comes up to this statue thing. The statue thing's covered in snails. And this scene was really dark. And honestly, I couldn't even see what was going on. But I think there was, like, a bloody handprint or something. I have no clue. It was so freaking dark. Then it cuts to that Asian chick leaving the castle-y thing. So Will sneaks in, and he's got a flashlight, and he's going down these stairs, and it looked like young Frankenstein's castle. There's snails and stuff around, and all that weird stuff. He comes to this weird dungeon-y room, and there's, like, little bones and stuff on the ground. And then there's this cell with this, like, creepy old dude in it. It was kind of like Dude, Where's My Car? They had that freak in the cage. Then he hears a gun cock and he turns around and there's the chick pointing the gun at him and she's like, you're upsetting the guy in the cage. That's probably the least of the guy in the cage's problems right now. Hannibal's like, what's with the dude in the cage? And she's like, don't worry about it. He's alright. He's like, you're keeping him like an animal. And she's like, I wouldn't treat an animal like that. Then she starts like motioning with the gun and just starts walking Will outside. As they're walking outside, Will's like, so what did that guy even do? And she's like, he ate Hannibal's sister, Misha. He's like, what's your name? And she's like, Chio. How do you know Hannibal? And he's like, he gave me a smile. Look. Just smile scar on his tummy, which was a nice way to do it. It could have been a frown. Side note, Will's tummy is nice looking. And then she's like, all stars can be born if you put them in a story. So tell me a story. It's just a weird way to put it. Then it cuts to Hannibal having a dinner party. And he's talking about like what cuts of meat went to different people in Roman times. He's having a dinner party with this couple and he's just feeding them meat. And it was just like a big scene of like them eating the meat and him smiling creepily and then breaking the fourth wall and looking into the camera. Then Will's sitting down with a chick and they're having tea. He's like, how do you even know it was that prisoner that killed Misha? And she's like, Hannibal told me. She's like, why are you even looking for Hannibal? Like, he left you with a smile on your tum-tum. And Will's like, I just don't know myself until I'm with Hannibal. She's like, Hannibal's not even going to be here anyway because this area has some bad memories for him. He's like, well, why were you here? And then she says that apparently Hannibal wanted to kill that guy for what he did to his sister, but she wouldn't let him. So Hannibal was like, all right, you can take care of the guy. Will's like, well, Hannibal probably wanted to see if you'd kill him, if you were capable of killing him. Then it gets to this weird scene where Bedelia's in a bath and Hannibal's washing her hair. She's like, what were you like as a young man? Tell me about the first person you killed. She's like, why can't you go home? What happened to you there? And he's like, nothing happened. I happened. And then this creepy moment of her like looking up and asking what his sister tasted like. And then she just slides down under the water. It was weird. Then Will goes to the prisoner cell and opens it up and takes the guy out and like takes him to this empty road and is like, go, I don't want you anymore. It was like Harry and the Hendersons. Then Jack Crawford and the inspector guy are at church and they start talking about like religion and coming closer to God. And Jack's like, I borrowed Will's imagination and I broke it. And Will really understands Hannibal, and who doesn't want like understanding and acceptance? Then that Asian chick is getting food ready to take to the prisoner cell, but when she opens it, the guy's in there, pushes the door open, knocks her down, starts choking her. Then it comes back and does one of those like super close-up slow rewinds of like snails going through blood and blood splattering on her face. Then you realize she got a thing and just stabbed that dude right in the neck, made him all bleed out. Gross. Will walks in and he's like, how'd it go? And she's like, you totally knew I was gonna do that. You're like Hannibal. You wanted to see if I'd kill someone. You guys are like besties. Will's like, Hannibal made up a story out of things only he experienced and he got you to do stuff. And then it's like they kind of decide to team up and go find Hannibal. And then it cuts to Will breaking a wine bottle, but then when he pulls it up, it's like a stick. And then there's shards of broken glass, sticks, and snails. And you see Will's like cranking up a rope. And the guy's like some weird mothy dragonfly lightning bug thing that Will's cranking up, and the guy's like this, and he's got big wings made of all that stuff. Will pulls it, gets the guy up in the air, and ties it off. And I'm really hoping that was just in his imagination and he's not going all Hannibal Lecter. Then him and her just both leave the Lecter castle. Then it cuts to Will playing the piano, and then Bedelia's like, you know what your sister made you feel you couldn't control. And it's not really different from between you and Will right now. And Hannibal's like, it's kind of like love. It pays you a visit or it doesn't. Then she's like, it's love and betrayal, and we can all betray people. And he's like, well, my sister didn't betray me. Things happened, and I forgive her for putting me in circumstances to make me feel feelings. And she's like, if what you did in the past is any indication of what you're going to do in the future, you know, what are you going to do? She's like, what's the one way you can forgive Will Graham? And he's like, I'm going to have to eat him. And then credits. It's getting more interesting, but I still don't like it when Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter are not even in the same room with each other. It's fun to watch them like fight each other and mentally duke it out, and sometimes physically. If I forgot anything, if I didn't go over anything, drop a comment. If you want to talk about it, drop me a comment. Don't forget to do the things, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later, so until next time.